go into our banter takes. So it's time for our banter takes. This is where we don't prep each other. There's no warnings, no ideas what's going to come next. So each week we bring our hottest takes to the table without telling each other beforehand. So every reaction, every disagreement, every meltdown is completely real. Some takes will be smart, some takes will be terrible, and at least one of us will probably um, upset an entire fan base. So we'll get
Mhm.
into our takes. And my first take: college football isn't thriving because of its leadership, it's surviving despite it. Every court ruling feels like another reminder that nobody running the sport knows where it's headed. Yeah, like I say, anytime I see anything with college sports and even just college football, it's just so messy. Like all this
Mhm.
NIL stuff, there isn't any order to it, and I understand players needing to get paid, especially if you're using their likeness for stuff. Um, but there's like no control over it. There's like no governing body that I think really looks at the NIL or seeing where this is going to go in the next few years. Because, like I say, transfer portals are happening so much more, and it's sort of taking that integrity out of this game. So who's running college football? You could say it's the colleges. It's the big name schools. Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Notre Dame, Texas, that's who's running college football right now. And the NCAA board or AD athletic, directors of the entire NCAA college football program, they're just probably reeling in the money. They're probably just caring about getting paid, get a nice little chunk, and then bounce and let college football just maybe get destroyed in the future. So, um, like I say, leadership it's lacking because there still isn't any control. I think we've talked about it. There needs to be an answer to this NIL. I think once you answer NIL, not just in football but all of sports, you'll have better outcomes than what you currently have in college football.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's been an ongoing issue. We've talked a lot about it when it comes to NIL and the troubles that are kind of ensuing with this. But
Mhm.
a big one over this, I believe it was today, was a court ruling with Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback for Texas Tech, and guilty, well, admitted to betting on games. I think throughout his entire collegiate
Oh yeah.
career, and he has bet, I guess, upwards of $90,000. He's placed somewhere between, I think they said, 8 to 9 thousand different bets on games. He bets on his own teams. He bets on other sports, and the amount of money that he put into it. But the weird thing, well, weird, however you want to look at it, angry ish, whatever frustrating part of it
Yeah.
is that the judge ruled in his favor today and
Oh,
said that he can play this season. And I guess that he's only getting like a 2 game suspension, um, even though he's literally gambled on his own games.
yeah.
And this is setting a precedent that is getting into some really murky waters
Mhm.
where, and this goes beyond just college football. This goes into professional sports. We've seen it with, going back to what the 70s with Pete Rose. This is something that's been around forever and ever, and with the easy access to sports betting, it's becoming just something that's always in the minds of these athletes or really anybody that is in these generations. But there's this precedent that it is seemingly okay for some judges
Hmm.
that he's doing stuff like this. This is going to affect all Texas Tech games, in
Hmm.
my opinion. Like, can you rely on this person? He got away with it. He can do it.
Yeah.
Openly admitted to it and still gets to play. And then you coincide that with, what teams are they going to play? They've
Mhm.
talked about scheduling. There's been a lot of people kind of talking about blackballing Texas Tech, not only for football, but just all programs across the board because of this, which I think is a little unfair. I think that you can single out football for this, unless you have something that's more systemic. But it's becoming a really big deal.
Hmm.
With this going on, because that's a substantial amount of money, And, God knows if it affected the way that he was playing these games as well. Um, yeah, I don't mind the fact that maybe a lot of these schools don't play Texas Tech this upcoming season,
Yeah.
unless the program decides to do something independently with Sorsby,
Yeah.
removing him from the team,
Mhm.
or full season suspension. I don't know what it is, but yeah. And then one thing that really bothers me about this too, John, it takes me back to the Trinidad Chambliss ruling, where he couldn't
Mm.
be eligible for his final season, but
Yeah.
it's okay for Sorsby to be eligible. I think it's so ass backwards, just thinking about these two things, where you have Chambliss, who became a really big name. I think he started at a JC, or
Mhm.
maybe a D2, D3 school, worked his way up, had an incredible season this year with Ole Miss. And then for them not to grant him eligibility, I think is just bullshit. And then it's like, oh, it's okay though that you're gambling. Like,
Yeah.
college sports, I get it. The NIL stuff,
Yeah.
it's good for the athlete. It
Mhm.
was necessary. But to have no governance going into any of this, and then to
Mhm.
look for Congress to try to figure it out, I don't think is the right step either. You need to have
Yeah.
something internal, undivided attention to kind of govern this, because it's out of control. It's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's bad. I didn't know about that, and like I said, when it comes to gambling, all other sports entities like the NFL, NBA, if you get caught gambling, you're pretty much gone for life from the
Mm-hmm.
NBA, and you could even go to jail. We've seen it these past years. I think Terry Rozier's one, right? That
Yep,
got
Chauncey Billups. Yeah.
Chauncey Billups. There's a lot, and like I said, especially gambling on games that either you could play in or you have an advantage because you know players on it. It pretty much is illegal in all sports. So why is NCAA allowing it? I don't know. Why Sorsby, Texas Tech isn't the a big prestigious program. I think
Mm-hmm.
biggest player coming out of there is probably what Patrick Mahomes, Michael Crabtree. Those are the top two.
Crabtree. Yep.
Um, I say, if anything, start investigating Patrick Mahomes and suspend him from the NFL. Who knows what he's been doing?
Yeah.
Since
What kind
since
of
Texas
influence
Tech.
does he have over there?
I know. He's a star there. Why are people going over there and betting? There's something going on there. But like it, yeah. What they're doing, letting Congress do that. It also like Congress not ruling in the favor that they normally should rule, letting this
Mm-hmm.
go, not punishing it. It's telling people that it's okay to do it because now someone else could get a gamble on games. They get caught and be like, "Hey, you didn't do it to Sorsby. You can't punish me because I'm going to countersue you." Because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense.
Yep.
So it's just going to hurt the integrity of this league of football. And yeah, I think there's a lot of teams that are probably going to not want to play Texas Tech. Um, I say who knows how they'll be good, but who knows? They probably may come back to Sorsby separately after hearing all the backlash and how teams are feeling, and make it okay. But like I say, the way it's going right now, it's not a good look for them.
Yeah. No doubt. And even like on a broader scale of things, I think, back to the days when you remember with Ohio State, like back with Terrell Pryor when he was there, and they got
Mm-hmm.
in trouble for the tattoos that,
Yeah,
they were comp tattoos, I think is all it was, for
yeah,
like in exchange for some gear, autographs and stuff like that.
yeah.
And you think about how harsh they were with that ruling, where, the coach has to leave program, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's like just kind of a sour, eye on the program for a few years and blah, blah, blah. And then you just have what we've come to today. Like,
Yeah,
if I were Reggie Bush, I'm glad he finally got his Heisman back. But it's like,
yeah.
I just think about all these things and it's like, dude, like, what hypocrites. And then you think
Mm-hmm.
about all these other players. I think that there's maybe an Iowa State or Iowa player, he's a quarterback, I believe, that got in trouble a couple of years ago for sports gambling as well. And they ruled, against him,
Mm-hmm.
obviously following the rules, whatever. And I think he lost his scholarship and wasn't able to play again. And but then you have this go on. It's like, okay, what case does he now have?
Yeah.
To go against the
Hmm.
NCAA. So I don't know. But is there even an entity of the NCAA that you can go after at this point? I don't even know.
I
It's
don't think there is.
yeah. I'm
I
genuinely
don't know.
confused. Like, do you go after programs? Like, who do you go
Yeah.
after?
Yeah. I think you might have to go after the program and sort of have forced their hand to do the right thing and suspend,
Hmm.
Sorsby. I think that's the only way to sort of get out of this clean on your own end as a university of like, yes, he did wrong. I know he wasn't found guilty, but integrity wise of the game, of what we know about the sport, the history of it, what we've done in the past, we cannot allow him to play for our team, with those accusations and him admitting guilt to sports betting.
Yep.
Because like I say, if they do that, I think he'll people will be a lot more accepting of Texas Tech. He'll probably go into the portal, but like, what team is really going to touch him? It's going to be Division 2, maybe Division 3.
Maybe. And then at that point, it's like, what's the point? Because NFL teams sure won't.
Yeah.
They won't want to go anywhere near you.
No. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an issue. It's a character issue at that point
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy. Well, we'll see what comes from this, but yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Sports betting, man, that's just getting big, and
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll
It's a
see if it
bummer.
ever gets.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it ever gets resolved. But it's like,
Yeah.
what's kind of ironic with this too, John. Just one final point for me is like, you go on, if you're watching ESPN throughout the day, you get like an advertisement for daily sports betting, and then you
Yeah.
have the story breakout. And it's like
Yeah.
just the promotion for it, and then it's like, oh, but here
Yeah.
we're going to give a harsh criticism of this ruling
Yeah.
too. It's a hot mess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a big mess, but all right. I'll send you my one take I have.
All right. Got my take here.